Listen, we only get one shot at this.
Why not live life on our own terms? Hey everyone, it's Tom Kradza, and on this episode of the Your Life, Your Term show, we have on Matt James, who's a longtime Rockstar Inner Circle member, and actually he showed up with his wife, Alexandra, who's in on the episode as well, so that was a great combo to have them both on and share their experience. And I really have to thank Karen, who's Matt's mom, who was the original Rockstar Inner Circle member, who suggested that Matt check us out. And Matt's story is incredible. So he's 29 years old now, I believe. I hope I got that right. And he parlayed some of his experience in marijuana stocks and the whole weed stock craze into some rental properties. Wait until you hear how that went down. And now he's working. He's got multiple properties, a ton of experience. We get his views on, marijuana stocks. We get his views on rental properties, and what him and Alexandra have been able to accomplish with properties in such a short time is incredible. And then now he's working. He's also starting up his own business and running his own business. So just a great guy, very well spoken, tons of experience. Can't wait to see what he does with the next 10 and 20 years of his life. It's going to be incredible. I can tell. So if you are listening to this and you want to get in on some of the real estate investing, just like Matt has done, you can check out everything that we are doing here at Rockstar by going to the URL www.rockstarinnercircle.com. On that website, you're going to find access to our videos that we call our Rockstar Minutes, where we have a lot of information that we share that way. You're going to have access to all the podcasts that we put out. You're going to have access to the different reports that we publish and are constantly updating on that website, along with free copies of all the books that we put out. And the reason that we're sharing all this information is that when Nick and I started, we could not find any Canadian-based information that was really helpful being written by people on the streets actually doing what they're talking about. So that's why this website exists. That's why the Rockstar Inner Circle exists. And that's why the brokerage Rockstar Real Estate was created. So if you're looking to get ideas on strategies that people are using to create cash flow in the Greater Toronto and Golden Horseshoe area, you can go to www.rockstarinnercircle.com and check it out all there. If you want to come to the class that we do, which is a 90-minute introductory class, you can also register for that by hitting the big red button on that website that says free investor training or investor training or something like that. Once a month, we do a 90-minute class. It's virtual right now. Nick and I are on that together. We stick around and do a Q&A at the end of the class to answer any questions that you throw our way. So you can register for that there. That's enough with the intro. Let's get on with the show.
Are you ready to live life on your terms? Is it time to take charge? Real estate, business building, the economy, health and nutrition, and more. It's the Your Life, Your Term show with Tom and Nick Kradza. Are you ready? Let's go.
Okay, we are live with Matt James and Alexandra James.
Almost.
What is it?
Right now I'm a berry, so Berry.
Okay.
Like the fruit. Soon to be James, I think.
Soon to be James.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why soon to be James?
We haven't got our marriage certificate yet.
How recently married are you, you said?
February.
Oh,
I'm
February.
sorry,
yeah.
Oh, and then COVID came
And then
along?
COVID
Yeah.
came.
Oh, so you're just lost in the system.
Yeah, we
Right
haven't
now
got
we are.
anything.
You might not even be married.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, that's cool. We've never had this situation yet.
Yeah.
I'm joking, but and we were joking, Matt. We're going to get to your story in a second.
Yeah.
But Alexandra works at a big Canadian bank, and we were just saying in here we got one of those machines that scans the check, so we don't even have to go to the branch
nice.
anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for
I think
branches.
they're fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know the thing that you drop the check. I know
Yeah.
you know. What am I saying?
It's a remote capture RCR.
This is a test.
RCD,
She's
remote
got it.
capture
Yeah.
deposit.
Believe me, she's got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remote
And it seems
capture
pretty
deposit.
cool. We
like
were
it.
resistant to it because we
Yeah.
thought, oh, it's not going to work. The checks will be jammed. Some will rip. Forget it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we have this in here, our mom, who does a lot of the stuff here with us, and Sonia on our team,
Yeah.
they're loving it. They drop in the checks, it scans it in, goes into deposit. You don't even have to go to the bank anymore.
I think it's fantastic.
This is my way of telling you, Alexandra, that
I'm
banks
out of a
are
job.
becoming obsolete. This is bad news. This is actually bad news. This is not a good news story. This is a bad news story. I'll tell you something else. We're big TD customers.
Yeah.
And I was at TD and I was doing some bank wires. We were mentioning about some bank wire stuff. And they said, hey, you don't even have to come in anymore. Sign up for this rapid wire.
Yes.
So I'm in the middle of getting processed for that. And
fantastic.
I'm like, between the checks being processed in our office, rapid wire where where I think I'm going to be able to wire money from like my online banking or something like that. I get a soft token, some authenticator thing.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow. The people in the branch, we love our branch over here, and they're encouraging me to do this. And I'm like, seems weird. It's like, I don't have to come. You're encouraging me never to show up here again.
Yeah, even if you get cash, I don't know if you get cash deposits from any clients of yours, but now you can be set up for express deposit. So that's there. You get a key. You can go to the bank with a bag. You put your cash deposit in the bag, seal it up. And right before the ATM drive-through, there's going to be a box for night deposit, they call it. You get a key, open it up, put your bag in, and then it'll be deposited the next day.
Didn't that always exist?
I
feel like I did that.
But a lot of people don't know about it.
Okay. That's the big silver kind of drawer that opens up.
Yes. Yeah. And remember, you used to be a teller at different banks, so you got the inside knowledge. A lot of people don't know about it.
I was a great teller, man. I sold so many CIBC Visa cards.
Nice.
Now looking back, I'm like, why did I ever talk to anybody about getting a Visa card?
Yeah.
I was the enemy. I don't believe in credit card debt. So I was definitely the enemy.
Oh, gosh.
But there was rewards. It was like you would get free pizza lunch if you sold so many of these Visa cards.
So it's an incentive to you then.
Yeah, it was an incentive for me to sell these CIBC Visa cards. Anyway, I want to switch over. So I didn't know we were going to have both of you here. This is amazing. Matt, you have been a Rockstar member for a little bit here.
About 4 years now, I think.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah. So thank you for that.
It's been a great ride so far.
And I want to jump into your story. Just have at it. You tell me, because I'm reading, you sent something in here. I didn't know about your background and your story, how you got into some properties and stuff. Yeah. But reading this story here, I'm like, this is a little bit crazy. So I'll ask you some questions, but you just lead off. How did you get into the real estate game? Take it from wherever you want.
I feel like it was just a lucky thing from the get-go. So I started with the marijuana stocks, the weed stocks, as everyone says. I had a few friends in the banking industry that said everyone was coming in to start all these direct investing stock accounts.
Because of the weed stocks.
Because of the weed stocks. That's what they were leading into. Everyone kept coming in and saying just offhand, I've been hearing about this. My buddy's talking about it. Let's open an account.
So what was this 3 years ago?
Yeah, early 2017, late 2016 maybe is when I started getting into it. So I had more and more friends saying that they were going to start getting into it. And they would start the conversation like they were almost nervous to talk about it. Like they weren't sure if it was a thing you could even talk about yet. So I was like,
I know, right? Because everybody's been so used to like, I think, I don't know if Nick wants me to share the story. There's a stigma. Yeah. I'll let Nick share the story about we'll just leave it at that for now. But yeah, there's a stigma with it for sure.
Yeah, there is.
But we know a bunch of people also who plowed in, but didn't have very much success with it. But it sounds like your story is a little different. But
like I say, it was just luck. I was a novice going in. I had some mutual funds beforehand that didn't do well. And so I started going down that rabbit hole, and I was like, this isn't for me. I started with 10 grand, and a few weeks later it was like 9 grand. So I was like, that's not what I want to do right now. So I was like, I'm going to start directing this myself. And I heard about all these people coming in and wanting these, weed stocks. So I said, well, if I'm ahead of the game, maybe I will be able to almost take advantage of this knowledge.
You're going to front run the market.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would go home, do reading every night after work, and see who was opening their next facility next, who was getting their next license next to cultivate and grow, who was getting government approval, all that sort of stuff. And you could kind of I had a sheet going where I could map it out on what date what was happening. So I'd try to buy the stocks a day or two beforehand.
Because you would see when they were going to get the government license to sell.
And then, like on the TD app or wherever you're looking for your news, it'll come up and it'll say like facility approved by Government of Canada. So everyone sees that news, everyone jumps on that bandwagon, it shoots up. But if you're in beforehand, you can sell on that news and then, take your profit from there. And then
so
just
you're
jump to the next
being total
one.
smart money. You're buying on information that was pretty readily available. Did you have to dig super hard?
Not really. Like it was maybe I did get into it after work. Like I would spend probably 2 or 3 hours going home and just reading, seeing. You could go to their websites and see what their plan was, and then if you just build like your own little planner of what was next after that, you could kind of see what was happening when, and kind of almost guesstimate when people were going to start jumping into this. Because it seemed like really any positive news, it was like plus 20%, plus 30%. Some of them were going 100% overnight.
And you were always selling on the positive news?
Always selling on the positive news.
Which is the direct opposite to what most people do.
Everyone buys, and then, everyone always buys at the top, and then, typically loses out.
So you started this at like 25 or 26 years old? 26-ish?
Yeah, maybe even, I have late birthdays, maybe even late 24, 25.
24,
probably.
25 years
Yeah.
old. What got you thinking to do this way? This is a pretty smart approach to the
what?
market.
So when I was in high school, I took a business class, and it was actually our teacher gave us a newspaper, and you passed if you did well. She gave you like a fake $100,000, and she's like, look at the TSX here. If you make money, you pass. If you lose money, you fail. So I already had an interest in it, I guess, from then, and always said I was going to, but never did. And then when I lost money in the mutual funds, I was like, okay, I don't want somebody else controlling this money. I'd rather control it myself because I feel like I can do a little bit better.
You sound like one of us for sure. We're like, don't touch my money. I got
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
You hands off my
Yeah,
cash.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was always just buy beforehand, tell them the positive news. I remember the best one ever. Like there was quite a few companies I was just in and out overnight, and it was in a tax-free savings account. So I was just waiting from the call from the CRA saying, why are you going in and out so much? Like, are you going to pay some capital gains on some of this at some point? But in one of them, there was I don't know if you know the town Bellefountain, but I was in there's a general store right on the corner.
Okay.
And
Where is that? Where?
Where would you say?
So it's about 20 minutes north of Brampton, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind
So
of just a
like
little
on my way
community.
to Orangeville?
On your way to
Yeah.
Orangeville, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, on the forks of the
We go
Credit
through
Road.
Orangeville all the time up to on our way to Blue Mountain.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
Right through this place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right off
Okay.
the highway there.
Okay.
Yeah, right at
Okay.
the bottom of the Caledon Mountain, really.
Okay.
So I'm an HVAC technician, that to the side. So I'm working on the furnace in this general store. I'm in the attic of this room, and there's customers all downstairs. I was in this one company called TGIF. It's now called 1933 Industries. I bought it like 3 o'clock on like a Thursday night.
What?
and
This is one of the weed companies?
This is one of the weed companies.
You're
yeah.
in their HVAC system?
Oh, no.
No, sorry. I'm in the general
he buys
store.
stocks
sorry.
during-
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, on
sorry.
working hours because it's 9.
For some reason, I thought you were crawling in
No.
the HVAC system of the weed place, and you heard some
I
insider
wish.
information. or
That would
something.
be
No.
fantastic,
Yeah,
though,
okay.
wouldn't it?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I bought it the day before, and then so I'm up in the attic here, and I see 9:30 in the morning comes, TSX opens. This stock has gone up 100% in the 12 hours I've owned it. So I see, is it okay to talk actual numbers here?
Of course,
Yeah.
whatever you want.
So it says plus $47,000.
Holy
I nearly
shit.
fell out of the attic. Nearly fell out. Customer, thank God my ladder was right beneath me because I almost fell right out.
Holy.
So that's how he acquired a lot of the down payments for the houses he was soon to buy.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was lucky. But, the only thing was with that is I was a novice, so I was greedy. So I thought, well, if 47,000 in 12 hours, if I wait another 2 days, maybe it's going to be plus 100,000. So I didn't take all my profit. So I think I only got about 30 grand out of that one after it fell down a little more.
Yeah.
Only,
But I think we've
only.
all-
Yeah.
I think we've all done that,
yeah,
though, right?
We've all done that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's when I should have listened a bit more.
The
to Warren
psychology of the
Buffett.
market's so interesting, and it's why we like real estate so much, because when I was playing in stocks during my tech run and I was getting into stocks, this is late 1990s, okay, so like an eon ago.
Yeah.
But you always felt like when the price was going up that you were about to double again.
Yeah,
Or you should
exactly.
buy more.
Yeah.
And then if it went down even like 5 or 10%, you were like, oh my gosh, like, I'm losing everything. Maybe I should buy more now because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And you just messed up everything. And it turned into this whole game of buying at the wrong time, selling at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So I don't really know anyone who's sold at the top perfectly, but you did pretty good.
We did all right. Yeah, we definitely did all right. So then probably January, February came along, and
This is
This
what
is
year?
2018.
2018 then
Yeah.
at that point. Yeah. And that's kind of the end of the bull run for those weed stocks. So we starting to lose money, and we're starting realizing, okay, this is probably done now. So we're like, we're not going to be this lucky again. And I'm a rockstar member at that point now. We need something better to do with this money. Like, we can't just sit on it as cash.
Wow, your thought process is crazy. First of all, the high school teacher who was only going to pass you if you
if you made money,
like love this person, whoever
Yeah.
that is, like that's real world.
Do you remember their name? You should shout out to the
you know what? I
podcast.
don't, but I'm gonna have to look into it now.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. And then your thought process to convince yourself you should sell that a bull run is over. Most people are not going to think that way.
It just seemed like, because when I got into it, everyone that was coming up to talk to me was saying like, hey, do you know anything about these weed stocks? And it was like whispers, like they would never just come out and say it. So when I noticed those conversations stop happening, I was like, okay, maybe this is the sign that It's over
got
now.
Got it. So you're getting the whispers.
Yeah, and then they totally stopped.
That's funny because that's what it feels like a bit with Bitcoin right now. I feel like the whispers are everywhere around me. It's like every time, and I know we talk about it a lot, so it'll be natural for Rockstar members to communicate back to us. But I even have other friends and stuff who are texting me, and I'm like, why is it every day? I feel like I have to remind Nick, I'm like, we talk about, we're a real estate brokerage, but I feel like lately all we're talking about is freaking Bitcoin all the time, but it's because of those whispers. Like everyone has questions about this thing.
And you just did get the all-time high last night. I think it was 19,932.
I think it hit for it hit for like that. 10 seconds.
It did.
And then
it came back down a little bit.
And
still,
you can tell it's fighting hard. Like it doesn't know if it wants to go over that price or is it going to settle down for a little bit.
Well, the funny thing about all-time high is that means that everyone that's ever bought is in profit. That's pretty crazy to say, really. Crazy. That really is, yeah.
Pretty crazy. But okay, so the end of the bull run, I just want to get back to your marijuana stuff.
Yeah.
End of the bull run, you decide, are you cashing out everything at this point?
Yeah, so we go full cash in that account. And then that's when we start with Lisa Pota here on the team.
How did you find us?
You know what, actually, so my mom is actually a member.
That's right, I forgot.
She was a member for probably a year before I was. And she kept saying, you need to go talk to these guys. You need to go meet them. And I was like, I don't know.
Who are these real estate guys?
Do they really know anything?
Yeah.
So,
they're full of crap for sure.
Yeah. So ended up, my friend and I came down to one of your rent-to-own classes, the introductory class. And we were the first ones there. We met you, and we probably talked to you for about 10 minutes before the next person came.
I think I vaguely remember
Yeah, it was at the old office.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. So he owns his own car dealership and like mechanic space. And like say, I had my HVAC company. So we're kind of talking to you about that, and we're young, so we don't, we kind of know, but we don't really know. So you seemed excited, so it was good to talk to you about it.
I seemed excited. Yeah, you guys were totally checking me out. Who is this guy? Is this guy full of crap or not? Yeah.
But no. So we went through the class, heard everything you had to say about the rent to own. We got in the car and we both looked at each other and we're like, okay, it's time to do rent to owns. Let's get into it right now.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good for you. What a journey. So just to conclude on the marijuana stuff, you were in that market for how long? It doesn't seem like it was.
It wasn't that long. It was I probably started early October.
Of 2017.
2017.
And then you're out by
probably
February?
exiting, last week of January, first, maybe even second week of February, somewhere in there.
And then is there, and then you made multiples on your initial, was it like, did you start with 10,000?
Yeah. So
you don't have to share actual numbers.
No,
here.
I don't mind. Like if it's okay, I don't mind.
Whatever you want.
So originally it was 17,500 I had invested. That turned into about 112,000 or so. And then I just in the final weeks, I got lucky again and put another 10,000 in. And I think after everything, I think it was about 143,000. So 26 turned into about 143.
That's insane. Good for you.
It's like I say, it was luck. It was just a little bit of research.
It was luck, and you keep saying that, but I find people who keep saying they're lucky. A lot of time is you had some preparation going on. Not everybody's writing the little spreadsheet that you're putting together, mapping out when people are getting their license. So I can accept that it was some luck. Definitely, there's luck in all our lives for sure. But you were
I appreciate
you were the preparation. Meeting that opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
The question is, did you listen to any of my financial advice?
Absolutely.
No.
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
No.
Always.
Yeah. You had the TD expertise or bank expertise. The bank expertise right next to you here.
The inside track.
Yeah. So then you come and you find us. You learn about some real estate stuff. You and your buddy. This is a friend of yours.
Yeah, we came to the first.
So what's the
class.
first? Will you buy a property?
So the first one, he ended up not moving forward right away. So Lisa and I looked at a few properties in Cambridge. This is when there were all those crazy bidding wars, early 2018.
It feels like it's been like that for 10 years, by the way.
It has now, yeah.
But sure, 2018, it was crazy.
Yeah, so we went and looked at a few. We lost a few. And so I realized we have to make a huge gap on what these prices are. So the one I ended up getting, it was for sale for $250,000, and we bid $300,000, and we only won it by $500. Like the next bid under us was $295,500. So it's just crazy. So we got that house. When did we close on that one, Alex?
April of 2018, he closed.
Yeah, so we closed on that one in April.
Alex, were you on board with this right from the beginning, or were you a little skeptical?
At the time, I was thinking that we would buy our first property together to live in because we were still living in separate houses. He wanted to go in and on a property with his brother. So that was his first house, the one that they closed in April 2018 in Cambridge. which was completely okay because it was within his family and he wanted to do something great with his brother. So I was really excited for them. And they wanted to start with a rent to own because they wanted some of the capital, I guess, back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, get a quicker like ROI on the down payment because we put 20% down on that property. So we were figuring if we could get a little bit more back, first of all, as like a new investor, it would be better. But with just seeing how the market was going, we're like, I don't want to lose this thing. How like it's been hard.
So did you operate that one as a straight rental?
Yeah, so it's been a straight rental all the way through.
You told me that here. I have a little bit of a write-up. Yeah, okay, so that one's been a straight rental, which has been happening a lot. Look, when we started this, we were doing a lot of rent-to-owns because in 2008, Nick and I had already been doing properties for a long time. But in that part of the market was interesting because the US was crashing from a real estate perspective. Prices were coming down. So Canadians were thinking, I'll get into the real estate market, but I don't want to hold this because real estate prices are about to come down because we're going to mirror the US. So the rent to own really fit during that time really nicely because people thought, oh, okay, I'll keep this property for a bit, but then I'll sell it because I don't want to hold this for too long because interest rates are going to go back up. This is what everybody told us.
Yeah.
And when they go back up, the real estate market is going to collapse. So this rent to own thing really works well. So we believed in it regardless, but it just hit a nice sweet spot in the market at that point. But I would say a lot of investors we work with over the last 5 years have been like, screw that. I'm buying a property and I'm holding it forever. So we do on a rent to own basis right now, probably the amount of business Rockstar does, it's probably like 3% of what we do.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
It's a tiny, because most Canadians are like, I'm never selling this real estate because real estate only goes up. And we're always like, whoa. We think it's going to go up like crazy because interest rates are so super low and the government's spending money like a drunken sailor. So we think it's going to go further, but you can't bank on that.
Exactly.
So let's look at the cash flow. Let's be sophisticated here. And then if it goes up, bonus. But most people just aren't even listening. They're like, forget it. It's going to go up. Right. And we're like, So this is like our panic or battle where we're always trying to communicate, be smart, don't go too crazy. Don't leverage yourself too much and that kind of thing. But you got in, and how was the renting a property out process? Did you do that yourself?
I did do it myself. Yeah. The first time we used do you know Lorenzo Poda?
Lorenzo Poda really well. Yeah.
So he rented it out for us actually, believe it or not, because it was just a little bit too far. We're living in Orangeville. It's just a little too far to get down there and show it every night. So he did a fantastic job.
He's a hustler, and I mean that in the best possible way.
You know, the funny thing is now is he's handling a refi at Butler for me right now.
So. Yeah. He works at Butler Mortgages right now. Yeah, it's a small world.
It is. Yeah.
So cool.
So we did show it with him for probably 2 or 3 times as a rent to own. People just didn't understand it, and with that coupled with then us wanting to hold on to the property, we decided, it's a straight rental now. And that was super easy.
Could you cash flow it as a straight rental though?
So the mortgage on that, I think originally it was like 2.8% on a 5-year fixed, a 5-year variable. And it was about $1,100, $1,100 a month to carry it, and I think we got $1,650 right away as a three.
Because you had $1,100, then you had property taxes, insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were going to cash flow there.
Yeah. So we right off the bat, I think we were about $500 cash flow. Fast forward that one a year, we redid the interest rate, brought it down with like a 4-year variable at that point.
I think it was fixed if it doesn't make
now it's fixed. Yeah. So now it cash was about $900, that property, believe it or not now, which is just crazy. So
good for you guys, man.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
That's a really good one.
$900 a month on a single family home rental is a winner.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you. So that one.
Oh, you parlayed your weed money into rental property money. You're just compounding here.
Yeah, well, that's the seventh one. What is the seventh wonder, eighth wonder of the world? The compound.
Yeah. By the way, which is a big battle that we face with new investors because, actually, let me correct that. More so with people we've worked with for a while, because someone like you, let's say 5 years from now, you'll come to us and say, okay, it's time for me to get another rental property. And then you'll look at the prices and you'll reflect back on how you bought your first Cambridge property, and you'll say, whoa.
I already feel that way.
Whoa. Yeah, this is crazy. I'm not paying this price. And we have to break out our calendars and say, okay, pick an appreciation rate that you think might exist for the next 10 years. Let's hold the property price up and let's compound this forward and see where the next 10 years this possibly could be. Not that we could bank on it, but to give us a context of why it might be okay to get into the market right now.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to change your perspective from an experienced investor who looks back and says there's no way property prices are going to go up. And the reason we need to do that is we had many people in 2008 say, hey, Tom, I've been looking at the market for since 1998. Literally since 1998. I've determined in 2008, with everything going on in the US, the interest rates are about to skyrocket here because they're not going to be able to keep them low. And every real estate person here is going to be underwater. So I'm out. And we were looking at it like, I don't see how they can raise interest rates.
Yeah.
I can't figure this out. Like I don't, and we were talking out loud about it, just like we might be wrong, but I can't see how they're going to raise rates. So I think property prices may go higher. So let's buy them to just cover their costs. We're cash flow positive, so we're secure.
Yeah.
But we don't think the prices are going to come down. And then we tried to change the perspective of those people who have been in the market, and we just couldn't.
Yeah.
So now we have a bit more confidence. We're like, damn it. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening with the central banks. Look what's happening with the population base in this area. Like Cambridge, to your point.
Yeah.
Cambridge is exploding.
It is right now, yeah.
You know, I'm sure Orangeville, I don't know as much about Orangeville, but I feel like Orangeville is probably growing as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are subdivisions around Orangeville. I'm not so as familiar with Orangeville.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
is
mean,
one of
the
the
markets.
fastest growing communities right now. I
Oh,
think
it is.
Shelburne was the fastest growing last year. I think Orangeville was, 4th or 5th in all of Ontario. So there is a lot happening. There's a lot of development happening. And it's a bedroom town. Most people kind of live there and drive down to the city.
I feel I had friends who did the same thing when I was
Yeah.
in the tech world.
Yeah.
Even back then, people were living in Orangeville and driving into
Yeah.
Mississauga there.
It's easy to get down. Like you can just go straight down the 410 and you're right in the city in 20 minutes. So
Yeah. Selfishly, I love going through Orangeville because I don't have to go on Highway 400 to get to Blue Mountain.
There
that's
you
why
go.
that's why I'm always
Yeah,
going through
yeah.
that. But okay, so tell me then what happens after that first property, because then you do more stuff.
Yeah. So January we bought that house, but actually it was April that we closed on it.
Yeah.
But it was March or April
Of that same year.
Of that same year. So before we closed on the Cambridge house was when we decided we wanted to live together and buy our first home together. So we ended up buying that one in was it March or April?
I guess we put in an offer April of that year, and then we closed in June in Orangeville, one of the older parts of the the town. So a little bit more cost effective for us. And it was easily made into a duplex if he wanted to take it on.
So we're doing a lot of research now. There's 16 types of houses in Orangeville that are generally approved unless it's a custom home, 4 of which are really easily converted into a duplex. They have just 2 doors on the side of the house, so you can throw a wall up right away, bang, easy duplex. Not so easy when you start getting the town involved to make it legal and everything, but that's another story.
No, but that's how we always look at properties as well. It's
Yeah.
like, how quickly can we turn this into a duplex should we want to? Even if we're operating as a single family home, can we operate it as a duplex if we wanted to? And we've done that. We've actually bought rentals as duplexes and converted them back to single family homes because someone had paid us so much that they
Right.
were willing to have the whole house. And we're
That's
like, okay, that's
interesting.
fine.
Yeah.
So we've done the reverse, which we never thought we would. You know, we're like, okay, we'll convert it back. But
That makes
awesome.
sense.
Yeah, it made financial sense. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do it. So that's cool. So you live in that particular property?
No. So the
Funny
thing
story.
is, so as we're going through that process to make it a legal duplex, we rent out the upstairs, which we did a little bit of work in to make it ready to offset some of our costs while we're putting money into the basement to make it a legal duplex. So there's people, renters living upstairs now at this point, and we're working on the basement, and we're still living with our parents, each of us. And we're like, we're ready to move in together. So I drive there to the property, do some work one night after work, and all of a sudden on our road, there's about 6 properties for sale. And so I call our realtor and say, what's going on? Like, why all of a sudden has the whole street gone up for sale? Do they not like us anymore? So it turns out that it was low-income housing that Doug Ford had eliminated from the budget. So the town had all these single-family homes as low-income housing that he had to disperse and move all those people into apartment buildings. So, yeah, like I say, all these houses went up for sale. So we found our exact house, but a mirror image of it, put in an offer on that one, and ended up going back and forth with the county of Dufferin, owned that house. Went back and forth a few times and ended up getting that one. Again, knowing it can be a duplex because it's the identical floor plan as ours.
You'd already done the work here.
Yeah. So now we're doing 2 renos at the same time.
Wouldn't recommend that. No.
No,
No.
that's stressful.
At your age, you guys are good for
Yeah,
that.
that's
totally
quite
fine.
stressful.
Yeah.
So, so we did a full gut on that house. There's a lot of smoke damage in it. There was a lot of they hadn't touched it since 1967 when it was built.
Yeah.
So we did all the work in that one, focused on the upper level of that one. So we moved in there and then finally got the basement of the other house ready. And now there's tenants living in there. And now we're in the process of trying to do the refinance now with Butler Mortgage, trying to get some money together to put a legal apartment in our house.
Legal
our
basement
primary.
apartment, yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. Way to go. So that's current. Now
That's
where
correct.
you are.
Yeah. So I'm hoping Butler can work some magic, because right now our total debt service, our income to debt, is over what it should be.
You're a mess. In
Yeah,
the banking,
it is.
in
Yeah.
the banking eyes.
Yeah.
And
So-
Alex knows this. Being at the
Yes.
bank,
Yeah.
you're a complete mess. But you know what? Welcome to the real estate investing
Yeah,
world. That's where we
exactly.
all get ourselves to.
Yeah.
And people even ask Nick and I when we started, like, why are you guys just not buying all these properties? Like, why should I trust you? Like, if these are such good deals that you're telling me about,
So many
and we're like,
opportunities out there.
but we couldn't buy anymore.
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
no more money.
Yeah.
Like when we started this business, it's not like I had a young family. Nick quit his job. We had already been buying properties. Our debt ratios were already screwed up. Then we quit and went to self-employed status, which makes it even harder with the
Yeah.
banks.
Yeah, it does,
And
yeah.
people were looking at us like, well, if it's such a good deal, why don't you buy? And we're like, we don't even have any more money. Like we don't have more money.
Yeah.
We have some equity that we can't refinance because the banks don't let.
Yeah.
So I find all investors, you go through this period where, you know, it's almost like the most frustrating patience that you require, where you buy a bunch of real estate and then you kind of cap out and you have to let the appreciation kick in or the equity build up from the mortgage pay down. And then your income might change, whether your career kind of evolves or your business kind of grows and the banks like you again.
Like,
And
that's
then
where
what
we're
we
at,
found, and I found over the last, let's say for Nick and I, last 5, 6, 7 years, the banks have started to like us again. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You liked me before, then you hated me for a bunch of years, and now we're friends again.
Yeah.
And even actually one bank, which I won't name, they had a cap on us for a while saying, hey, you guys are capped out. We only allow 6 properties for investors. That's it. And this was like common knowledge that this particular bank had this limit of 6 properties to investors. And then when our financial situation changed, we stumbled into this bank again for a different reason. And we talked to them and we had to submit our financials for something else that we were doing. And they looked at it and they're like, you know what? We'll lend to you guys on 3 more properties, no problem. We're like, whoa,
wow.
whoa. For years you told us
All of a
6
sudden.
properties. And they're like, well, you know, situations changed and we can make exceptions. And we're like, damn, another case of us believing what we were told and not challenging it sooner. You know, so if anyone out there is listening to this, you have to push the banks when you have to push, because a no today could very easily be a yes tomorrow.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. It's just it's a company that's changing its
And fiscal policies change as well, like what the government tells them to lend and stuff too. So, yeah, I mean, they could be lending one day and not the next.
Yeah. So you guys are in that period now where it can get a little frustrating because you're like, you want to do more stuff.
I feel like I'm doing nothing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy for the longest time. Then we caught up, got everything done.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden.
But someone like a couple like you guys and someone like yourself, Matt, you're doing all this stuff. You have your own business. This might be a time where you double down on building the business.
So, you know, the funny thing is that's what we're doing now. Doubling down on the business, but also on the property. So we've made them like all new decks, gates, fences, made them all smart homes. So like Nest thermostats. We've sub-metered the water. So, you know, you can have smart meters on them, totally control everything. So really doubling down those properties, making them work a lot better as rentals for us. So I don't have to be as hands-on, go there and fix something every night. I can, you know, look at my phone and see what the property needs or something like along those lines.
And with this much property already, as you guys, you know, evolve your relationship and grow together and stuff, your financial future, and things could change. There's no magic crystal ball that I have. But you've set yourself up with some nice assets now that if you just take out a calculator or a spreadsheet and you put in any appreciation rate into this portfolio, or forget the appreciation rate, just look at the equity that you're going to build up over the next 10 years and then 15 years. And I know by the time you get to my age, it might sound like forever, but it comes quick. And if the way you've set yourselves up now, it's going to be very interesting once you're in your 40s on what you have at your fingertips here. Even if we get no appreciation, just literally from
just
hammering
cash flow,
away
yeah.
at paying the bills, boring stuff.
Yeah.
And you look back and it's like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
You know, so that's cool. What did both of your parents say about this adventure for you guys?
Oh, interesting question. I would say I didn't realize how handy my father is. He was very involved in the renovation process on both properties.
We knocked down some walls, put in
yeah.
some load supporting beams.
And I think he felt productive. And even to this day, you guys still talk about, you know, things that are in the past that you've worked on and things going forward you want to work on. My mom has been with the bank for 35 years, so she knows a lot about real estate as well. And she thinks it's a fabulous idea. And your mom, of course, is a VIP member here, so she just
Yeah.
adores that you're part of like the family business now.
So she
That's-
has a few duplexes and triplexes in St. Catharines. I think another one in Kitchener.
We're going to have to thank your mom for
I know,
having us
yeah, I
cross
know.
paths like this. Super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So, and then cash flow on this, are all the, the one you're living in, but now you have multiple properties that are cash flowing. I don't think I asked you about the second property.
So the one in Cambridge now makes about $1,000 cash flow after everything a month. What's crazy about Orangeville is the rental rates are way above what any other town seems to be. So the purchase price on one right now, we bought it for $425, like say about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Upstairs is about $2,100 for a 3-bed, and the basement is $18.
Utilities in?
Utilities in the basement, but not upstairs.
So 2,100 plus utilities for the main
Exactly.
floor. That's a 3-bedroom main floor?
3-bedroom main floor, one bath.
bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the basement is a 2-bed, 1-bath, utilities in, just because with the furnace and AC,
That's incredible. Okay, so things are exploding. Just at our team meeting this week, Andrea on our team had a listing. One of her own properties actually was a legal second suite. First main floor goes vacant. It's in Hamilton. She puts up the listing on Facebook Marketplace to get
that's
it.
what we're using too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And within half a day, I think our team meeting's at like 10 a.m. She had just put it up. She already had 70 people that morning reach out to her.
Yeah.
She had someone committing to, I want to get this straight. I believe, I hope I'm not messing this up. It was, I believe it's 2,500, like $2,495 for the main floor plus utilities. No,
That's
sorry.
crazy.
No, it's utilities in. I apologize.
Okay, yeah.
It's 2,500 utilities
Still.
in.
That's amazing.
And she, well, yeah. Part of me, it's weird because I have this like dual thought on it. I'm like, it's amazing, but at the same time, things are going up so fast for people who don't have assets.
Yeah.
So much of their income is going to their living costs that it frustrates. So like, I'm kind of like our whole
I get
business is built on, let's help each other understand the monetary policy. And if real estate can be a vehicle for us to circumvent some of the damage that the monetary policy can do to our savings, then let's use that real estate to kind of get ahead. Right. But then at the same time, I see a population where the middle class is kind of being hollowed out because it's so expensive to own a home for your family that you have this kind of dual thought process about it. And I don't know if it's just because I'm a bit older now, we've been doing it. I've built up a little bit of financial net worth and now I can reflect back. Because when I was younger, Nick and I really weren't thinking that way. We were like, shit, we have bills to pay. We're leveraged to the hilt here. How are we going to survive till next month? And our debt ratios suck. And, the banks hate us. And like, Nick, I don't know. Do you have anything on your Visa card that we can use? Like, what's going on?
There,
So, totally. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there. And those panic nights, sometimes I remember just staying up at night, like, how are we going to, we have to renovate a bathroom in a rental property. We have no money for it. How are we going to do it? And,
shuffle some money around.
Just trying to make it work. So I don't know if it's just now that I'm reflecting back a little bit, but I feel like somewhat concerned with the situation, and I think it's going to get worse. I truly believe that property prices are going to go further up in Canadian dollars. And although that's positive for all of us here who own assets, it's like I don't really like the culture and the society that's going to then build.
Yeah, people that don't own assets are going to be caught in the middle.
Yeah, and I think when we try to scream from the hilltops, like, hey, all Canadians out there, listen, get yourself some assets, build a business. If you don't want to get assets, save in something like gold, save in something like Bitcoin, do your weed stock research. Well, maybe the weed stock thing's over. Who knows? I don't know enough about it to comment. But get yourself some assets somewhere to propel you forward. So it's this weird kind of, it's cool that we can all work together and share our successes like this. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel concerned for those that are not. So,
no, I hear you. And we try to help with that. Like we try to really make beautiful rental units, like really above what the standard would be, and not charge like the full market rent for like what it would be. Just to try to help a little bit. Like we have fantastic tenants and they just say to us all the time, like we love these properties, like we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I want to transition a little bit to your business.
Okay.
So how did you get into this particular business? Or
So
is this something you were taking in school? So describe the business. What do you do?
So first off, I'm an inspector for an HVAC company. So it's sort of like Enbridge. Enbridge deals only with natural gas. I'm out in the country, so we do oil and propane. So same idea, but they're different fuels, so they require different licenses. So I work for a company doing that, kind of part-time, some full-time, some weeks. And then I own my own HVAC company where I do installation of furnaces, ACs, water heaters, all that sort of stuff. It really just started out as, a friend needed help getting a furnace fixed one night, doing that. And then it, a few more things, and then it transformed into an actual business. So yeah, it's taken a lot of time
So
to build
you
up.
didn't go to school for this?
I did, yeah. So I went out of high school. I went to Humber North Campus in, I think it was Etobicoke, for HVAC, to get all my gas licenses and oil licenses and all that sort of stuff. And then, joined an HVAC company from there, and then started there, and then realized, I'm not really an employee. I would rather do my own thing. And then as I started getting more and more business, that's where the business kind of just grew from.
So now you have a foot in both worlds. You're working for a company, and you're doing your own thing as well. Nick and I just converted our last rental property from oil to gas.
Oh, did you?
It's in Hamilton. I don't think anyone even believed us that we still had an oil tank. We're like, and people would look at us like we're crazy. We're like,
out there.
no, like we actually get a truck to come by and fill up the fuel tank.
Yep.
And it was like from the exterior of the house, there's a hole, and they stick the thing in the side of the house. It's like filling up like a car, but you're filling up the house.
Yep.
And but we finally retrofitted it now to being like a gas furnace and stuff.
Yep.
But that's cool that you're still doing that. And I didn't realize out of maybe the more densely populated urban center, there is still oil out there.
Yeah. So if there's no natural gas, most people are on propane. The older farmhouses, anything older than really 30 years, most are oil. A lot of people do convert now because there just isn't.
Because there are no new oil systems going in, right?
There are a few, not too many. Typically, it's the person who's had oil their whole life, and they don't want to learn something new all of a sudden. They'll just put a new oil furnace in. But most houses now are propane if natural gas is not available.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
And then so now doubling down on this business, what does that mean to you? You mentioned that that's something you're going to do. Does this mean, trying to build it out further, make it a full-time kind of thing?
So what it is now is, so I have a guy that kind of works for me, and so I'll go out, quote jobs. If I can't handle it myself, I'll get him to go out and do the installation or the repair. And now we're investing a lot more in owning our own stock. So like in our basement right now, I have 5 furnaces sitting there, 5 ACs, a couple of water heaters. It's taking up a lot of room, but I can, if we have all, like, if people don't know, but sales do go on for furnaces, same as like Black Friday happens for other people. So I can get these furnaces, a couple $100 less than what I normally get them for. And then I can pass that savings on to the customer later on when I get the actual installation. But it makes it easier too when you're getting ready for a job and you have all your stuff ahead of you, and you can say like, okay, I'm ready to go for this installation today. So yeah, it's that. And then just also building a client base, really. Like this is kind of where I'm not sure how I want to grow the business, because I can't really leverage it out too much. If I go quote the job, people are expecting me to be the one installing, right? Because you can make it all really personal. You can explain it more than some random sales guy from a big company will come out. You don't know who the installer is. You don't know what the warranty situation is. So if you are the same guy that quotes it, installs it, follows up with them, make sure that they're happy, and then if anything happens in the future, like for maintenance or anything, they'll contact you. It's the same guy out that knows the system. They really like that, and so I've kind of taken that as my business approach. Yeah. And there is a big market for that. People really want to know who the guy is that's coming out. They don't just want to know that.
It's nice. But when you do get ready to leverage, you can, let me be the one to tell you, you can do it. You sell the person who's going to come in and do the work while you're quoting it out. Yeah. Like if you look at myself and Nick, everyone thought, oh, well, I just want, initially when we started to grow, it would be, I want to work with Tom or I want to work with Nick, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But when you build up the team around you and you sell their experience and you sell how great they are, now I'm convinced there's some people here that would rather work with people other than myself and Nick here at Rockstar, because they enjoy that person so much. Yeah. So when you're ready to leverage, it is possible. And the way you do it is you sell the experience and how great the installer is. So it's possible. Yeah. So you can leverage the approach now where to get business, you're like the one-stop shop where you're going to do everything. And a whole bunch of people are going to value that for sure. They meet you. They're going to have confidence in you. You're the one that's going to come and do the work. It's like an easy sale.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But when it's time for you to grow, don't let that limiting belief be stuck in there. You can totally do it.
Yeah, that's what we're working on now.
Yeah. And because everybody, and I think real estate people get stuck on that so often because they're like, well, it's my clients. They called me. They expect me to come to the house. You're just not doing it. And I'm not saying you're not doing this, but people don't do a good enough job selling how great their team is. Build the team up. How much experience they have, what they're doing, why they're great. Are they better than you at some aspects of this? Communicate that. Right. When you leave here today, I'm going to give you a book by Dan Kennedy called The Magnetic Marketing kind of Blueprint. He put
I've heard of it actually before.
Yeah, it's a book that we really think summarizes some of the best marketing strategies for building a business. So we'll give you a copy of that because that sounds like
that'd be really awesome.
Yeah, it's some of the principles that we've used to build this particular business, and I try to share it with as many different Canadians as I can. So we'll share that with you. He's been a huge mentor in our lives, and he just if you can believe it, he still faxes. He almost passed away last year. He's not in the best condition.
Yeah.
Nick just sent him a letter, and he just faxed us back something. So the fax is really weird now because it comes in. I guess he sends it to somebody who's helping him, and they scan it as an email attachment. So we get a fax as an email attachment from someone else's account. That's how we're communicating with him. But yeah, he wrote that book, and it's just a great summary of the principles that you would use to build your business. Because a lot of people in business get stuck on tactics. So someone will come to you, Matt, and they'll say, hey, Matt, you should be on Instagram. Put all these furnaces on Instagram. Or someone will come and say, you should start a podcast, or you should do this. The way marketing works is there's foundations, then there's a strategy, and then there's tactics. So you want that foundation, which is based on principles, right? There's just these principles in marketing that always work. Then you take a strategy and you use those principles, and then you layer on some tactics at the top. Whereas most people and your competitors will just be focusing on the tactics. Do Instagram, do this, do that. And they're always running in circles. You want to build your marketing foundation for your business on these principles. And once you do, you can just keep leveraging it. And that book really does a great job explaining it. So totally share that.
That's awesome.
With you. Well, I don't know if it's going to change anything or not. I know it's just really helped us. So we're talking from experience.
I will tell you, he's all about reading, expanding his knowledge. He does a lot of audiobooks. So when he's driving his car every day from different jobs, like he is all about expanding his knowledge. So he'll definitely be on his top of his list to read it next.
Why do you think you're like that? Why are you taking in all this information?
You know what? Honestly, again, I just feel like I got lucky that I was interested in self-discipline and building businesses and self-motivation and books and like your podcast. I've listened to all the podcasts probably 3 or 4 times each.
Wow, cool. Thank you.
So it's just, I figure if I'm driving around, going from job to job, just listening to the radio, I may as well be trying to get, I've always tried to get at least 1% better in something every day. Has kind of always been like my motto. So if I can at least, listen to something or make the business 1% better, or, lift 1% more weight in the gym or something, or get 1% better on a property or 1% closer to a refi.
That's his goal.
Alex, is he getting enough rest? Are you guys taking care of each other? It seems like, because I know you're busy too. You're involved in all this stuff. Are you guys both taking care of yourselves here?
I would say, we're more about self-care now. In 2018, early 2019, we were not, because we just wanted to get all these units
Everything
ready and rented. But now we're definitely, we wanted to travel more this year. That's not a thing, but eventually we'll get there. But definitely we're taking care of ourselves these days.
Yeah, travel's so 2019.
I know.
What are you guys talking about?
So
travel?
old.
Travel's like, what are you talking? This is the first year, 2020, where we will have not left Canada. And I went to Europe. I guess it's been 11 years straight to Europe. And then we usually go to New York City, and we'll go to Jamaica, and we'll go to Florida, and we'll have all these other trips throughout the year. And this year, Carol and I are looking at each other like, we have not left Canada. And we're a huge fan, we're fans of Canada. Nick and I are products of this country. So, we love this place, but sometimes you want to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just and it's funny. That's what Alexandra says. Yeah. We're ready to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I think we finally broke. I think Carol was mentioning, you know what? Forget it. We'll do the 2-week quarantine. Let's just book somewhere down south.
I'm there with you.
Yeah,
we almost did it.
Yeah. We're just like, we'll do the goddamn 2-week quarantine. If that's what you want. Because before in the summer, we couldn't do it. Our son, who you guys briefly met there, was going to Western. And we didn't want to come back from Europe. And then he would have to 2-week quarantine. We couldn't get him over to Western. It was a whole big thing. But now I think we're all like, screw it. We'll just go. Lockdown.
Yeah. Actually, I think we've decided our next trip is Croatia.
Yeah. Well, as much as you talk about it, we've learned a lot about it. It's our next, top of our list.
It's so funny because I used to downplay Croatia because our father growing up is such a proud Croatian. Everything was always Croatia's the best. It has the best beach. It has the best soccer teams. It has the best water polo team. Like it has the best in his mind. And he would always tell us there's only only 4.5 million Croatians. And look how good they are in sports. And we always have the best beaches in Europe. And so in my mind, I was always trying to downplay it to people because our father was so in our heads our whole lives that it's number one. But now after traveling a bit of the world and going around and stuff, and then having the, the opportunity to spend some time in Croatia every summer, I'm like, damn, man, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
it
really
looks
good.
it,
The islands, when we get to, if you go, you have to go to the islands.
Isn't there like tens of islands? Like
There's
numerous
thousands.
islands.
There's thousands of islands. Some of them you can't live on. And I don't know the amount of acreage that classifies an island, but you'll be out on the water and you'll go by a couple little islands and clearly no one's living on that thing.
Okay.
But there's just thousands of islands there.
Nice.
And there's some big ones, of course. And just going out on the islands is just incredible. It is, we're fortunate enough to rent a boat when we go out there for a few days. And the captain will take us to like a little cove where it's just a little restaurant that you can only get to by boat.
Very cool.
You anchor out and you swim into the restaurant, you eat, you swim back to the boat. And I mean, it sounds like to me, it's like a dream.
That sounds
I'm like, this is like, this must be heaven on earth because, I've had a few glasses of wine. My kids are there. My wife's there. Nick and his family, my brother-in-law, there's like 12 of us all there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
That's what it's about. With the family.
Totally. Yeah. And I see the kids having fun and the music's playing. I'm like, this makes all the real estate bullshit.
Yeah.
So
it makes it worth it. Yeah.
So all those ripping down walls and putting up the supporting beams with your father-in-law and painting and dealing with different emergencies and that kind of stuff. For those brief moments, you're like, it was all worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything's worth it. I feel very grateful that we can do that. So if you guys go, you have to let us know. We'll tell you where to go.
Oh, perfect.
I would tell you to even use our place when we're there, but we're usually there when people are going. But if we're not there, you have to let me know. We have a 2-bedroom condo there right on the water with the Wi-Fi and the washing machine and appliances all set up. So it's, it's a good
Wow.
setup.
Yeah, we want to take you up on that.
Yeah. You got to let us know. You'll meet my cousin Goran, and he will hand over the keys to you.
Okay.
But what about you? So you brought me this coolest Bitcoin thing. So what's the deal? So you bought in this coin that is like this Bitcoin coin, which we all know Bitcoin's not a real physical object. It's a digital piece of scarcity.
Yeah.
But I'm such a sucker for this thing. I'm like a huge fan. So thank you for bringing me this.
Yeah, of course.
But what's your thoughts on this? Why are you bringing this in? Have you started reading about it?
Well, so I have a little funny story with this. Back in 2009, when it was first created, I had a friend who...
Here we go.
He was a really good guy in
How many did he
computers.
give you, and why did you let go of them?
You know, the funny thing is, I was the complete opposite. So he started explaining to me back in 2009 that his computer was gonna do this math problem, and he was gonna earn 50 Bitcoin. And
50.
50. And I thought, why would you do that? That sounds so stupid. That's a waste of electricity. So I said, don't do it. Don't do it. Anyways, he ended up doing it. So at the time, we were so young that his parents wouldn't even let him have a cell phone. So he used my email to sign up for a cell phone. So I guess, he kept going with it. Just a few months ago, I got an email alert with an address on it that he topped up his data. And so I just happened to Google the address of this house. And it is this mansion out in
So you're not
British
connected
Columbia.
to him anymore?
No. So this mansion in British Columbia, right on the ocean. And I'm like, you know what? He must have made hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin because he had thousands of them.
Yeah.
Thousands of
Holy
them.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I'm, here 10 years later, I'm buying at
Kyle, are you hearing
14,000,
this?
15,000. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have bought 50 for 8 cents and not one for $15,000.
The crazy part is, I think it's still a deal.
I
think it's still
agree.
a deal.
I still think it is.
It's
too,
not
yeah.
that type of deal where you're making
No,
50
it's
on your
not.
laptop
Yeah,
computer.
exactly.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't. I mean, even to run a node now, you're looking at like $3,000 for a node, and I think it's what now, 12 Bitcoin. I think you earn per math problem. I believe
you've looked into it.
Yeah, I've considered running. I would really like to. So our next thing is when we eventually get this property finished as a legal duplex and we move to our next house, I would really like something with a running river. So I can build some turbines that would eventually maybe power some sort of a Bitcoin node.
Oh, yes.
Or have some sort of a solar farm, or even like the Tesla solar panels that are coming out. If I could get something like that to, power a Tesla and run a Bitcoin node.
But you know what? That doesn't sound like I think even 2 years ago that would have sounded bananas.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't seem too crazy to me. That actually sounds like a pretty good idea.
Was it Pierre-Paul Turgeon that was on, and he was saying that all the natural gas producers are using the methane out of the top of the smokestacks to mine Bitcoin now, right? And
Did
they're
you hear
paying a
Greg
percentage.
Foss come on and talk about
Yeah,
the
I
company in
did, yeah,
Toronto that's
yeah.
building those rigs that they're putting on top of those things?
Yeah. So I figure, you know what, if, you know, there's multiple different kinds of renewable resources out there. If you can harness any of those and make it work a little bit in your favor, because I mean, like if you were to mine Bitcoin, there's
and I think the way I like discussing Bitcoin is that people, I think, who don't know anything about it think you're talking about a get rich quick kind of scheme, like, oh, it's going to go up in price.
Yeah.
But the reason I want to communicate this out to as many Canadians as will be open to listening is that to me, it's a form of hard money.
Exactly.
And that if we all save our money and however we make it, through your job at TD, through your business, through what we do, through whatever anyone's listening to this, in a form of hard money, maybe it has the potential to go up in value as we age.
Yeah, I agree.
So that as you get older, your savings isn't depleted and you have to take it and put it into risky investments, quote unquote risky investments.
Yep.
Your marijuana stocks. I mean, let's.
Super
no,
risky.
I'm joking.
Super risky.
I'm joking. Those did really well, obviously. But you have to always be on the hunt.
Yeah.
Whereas I would love it for all of our time and labor to be stored in something that goes up in value, so that
scarce.
Yeah. And then maybe then as we age, people can take, instead of trying to still work 2 jobs, some people I know who are, you know, well into their late 50s, early 60s, still working really hard, maybe their savings will be worth enough where they can kind of ease back a little bit and share the wisdom of their lives with young people and have the financial ability to do that and not be scared that they're going to run out of money. Whereas I feel, I feel like this serves a real big purpose in the world. And I get a little bit all maybe too, you know, maybe I'm an idealist with it, but I just feel like it has the potential to really do some unique things.
Well, when you see like Citibank and like all these different big, like MicroStrategy, all these big companies putting hundreds of millions of dollars in all of a sudden, you have to think that there's something more behind it. And then like Visa and MasterCard are on board with their crypto cards now, where you can actually spend it through a Visa card now. Yeah, you can actually do that now. And you can even take, there's a company out there called BlockFi.
Yeah, BlockFi just today announced their credit card.
Exactly.
Which you can earn points.
But they also give you secured loans against your Bitcoins. Yeah, you can put
I got to look into more of this because I want to know who's borrowing to me, because I'm fascinated by this. I'm like, wait a second, I have some Bitcoin, so I can start lending this stuff out.
Yep.
And there have been a couple crazy companies that have gone out of business in this
There
whole
has
world.
been.
So
It's still in its infancy, for sure.
We are early.
Yeah.
But I want to understand just who's borrowing on that side. Like I need to understand this market a little bit.
Hopefully, real estate investor.
Well, hopefully, someone. Hopefully, somebody's running an HVAC company who knows some good marketing is going to grow that company. But it's just a fascinating space.
It is.
And
it absolutely is.
It's worth paying attention to. But today BlockFi came out with their Visa card. I don't know if it's Americans only, but they're paying out points. Yeah. And the points are Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So that you're spending the wallet and you're earning Bitcoin in it.
Yep.
And they're saying that they can pull this off because of the efficiencies in the technology. They don't have to go through all the old financial system. Alex, I'm pointing to the banking system, because the banking system, as it goes through the different transactions, everyone's taking a little bit of a piece of the pie there. So the points can't be shared as greatly as they can be with this new card.
Well, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think $100 million of Bitcoin was sent from one private address to another. And it was $1.18 they spent on the transfer fee. Yeah. On $100 million. Can you imagine sending that through a bank and how much you would spend?
Well, you know, I can see the application of it too. When Nick and I bought that condo in Croatia, we had to go to the bank, and then they were like, well, why are you sending this to Croatia? Like, what's, and we were like scared. We're like, well, I don't know. It's our money. Like, why are you asking me? What's your business? Isn't it my money? But because we were using their system to change it and they were asking us all these questions, I always felt that. And then it would take like 2 or 3 days for the Croatian bank to acknowledge that they had this stuff. And I always felt like it was floating out in the system. And I know it never got lost and it can be reversed even. So I felt fairly safe about it. But I always thought, this is so weird. Like, it's this would have been 2009, 2010.
Yeah, so still recent,
and we're already doing online banking and stuff. I'm like, why do I have to go to the bank and like kind of almost beg to send my own money and then answer all these questions and then hope it gets there? Whereas this settles almost immediately. I mean, we know how fast it settles. It'll take about 20 minutes to settle, and that's it. Once it's settled, there's nobody that has to move any gold bars behind the scenes. And I'm a big gold fan, so this isn't a knock on gold. I just mean, this looks rather interesting. I don't have to move any. I don't have to trust that you have the gold bars over there. It's 100% secure by some pretty heavy computing power at this point. Yeah. So it's just a fascinating space.
And that's the thing, like, people's biggest argument to me is how are you sure it can't be hacked? And the thing is like you'd have to, all the nodes run against each other. They're all trying to prove each other wrong until one can prove themselves right. So you need to have more than 51% or more of the computing power of all these different nodes out there to make sure to run a successful hack. 51% is bigger than like the 10 biggest supercomputers on the planet.
Yeah, I'm going to research this further so we have like the definitive answer on what 51% would be today, because you're right. It's just absolutely massive.
It's not possible, really. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but realistically.
So interesting times for you guys with your properties now, your experience in the stock market, now your real estate experience. You guys are both working. Now you know how to save in gold and silver. You're creating cash flow from these properties. The property will likely appreciate. If not, it's still the mortgage is being paid down. You're getting equity that way. Congrats to you guys both.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, like this is a big deal, especially at your age to be doing this. I don't think all your friends are doing this kind of stuff. So soon enough, you will be the guy who you Googled in BC with that big address. It's going to happen to you guys as well. Whatever happened to Matt and Alex? And someone's going to track you guys down in Turks and Caicos somewhere and go, look at them down there.
Yeah.
Well, as well, like I think Matt's learned a lot. I know Matt's learned a lot from your is it quarterly meetings you have out in Mississauga? I'm there at 8:30 on a Saturday too. It's fantastic.
Thanks.
Although
for
we've
coming.
been doing it, socially distanced now through the computers, but
we've had to do 2 virtual ones. It looks like February is going to be virtual again, so we can't. I think the next time we all get together, we're just gonna have the biggest, baddest party. Like screw it, man. Forget the coffee. We're just gonna serve vodka through the whole thing. Everybody party on it like 8 a.m. I don't care. Drink. We're all partying. So we're so looking forward to getting back together again. And thanks for you guys coming to those events on a Saturday morning, getting up early.
I looked forward to that for months.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
You guys have great energy.
Yeah.
And like I said, you guys have been great mentors. You don't know that. You've only met me in passing a few times. But we've taken so much knowledge, so much, even just like your energy. I feel like after listening to you guys talk, especially you, Tom, the energy, you like revitalize us, because going through real estate battles is hard. And after I hear you talk for, a few hours on a Saturday, I just feel like I have the energy to go for another few more months until I hear you talk about it again.
Thanks for that.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and you know what? I want you guys to know it's a two-way street, because when you send in a story like you emailed in like this and share what you're up to, we don't get to see that anymore, because Nick and I are more in the office. We're not on the streets all the time. It's more our team. So when we get stories like this, I see what you're doing out there. It motivates us. So it's completely two-way street. If we are feeding you, you're also feeding us. And I feel very fortunate to be able to do this. I tell my family all the time, Nick all the time, like, we're in a sweet spot. Like, this is a fun thing to be able to do.
It is, yeah.
Although we all go through the pains of running business. And anyone listening to this, and Matt, you should know this as you grow your business, Nick and I have challenges all the time. They're, one of the CRM system that we use, it gave us 30 days notice that they're not going to process any of the credit cards that we process regularly, and to find another merchant account. And switching to that merchant account wouldn't work properly with the CRM system. And yesterday we were battling, like, there's just always like perpetual amount of problems that are going on. But it's those days where you get to swim in Croatia in the water with your family that make it all worth it, right?
Well, it's like you say, the person who handles the most shit
wins.
Yeah,
totally.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. What's the URL for your do you have a website for your business, for your HVAC? And what geographic area?
It's just an email. autumnair.heating@gmail.com.
autumnair.heating@gmail.com.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll put it in the show notes, I guess.
Totally put it in the show notes. Yes, Autumn Air, one word, autumnair.heating@gmail.com.
You got it.
And what geographic area do you serve?
We're a big area, honestly. I'll do anything from Markdale, if someone knows where that is.
Where is that, Markdale?
That's a good hour and a bit north of Orangeville.
Okay.
So almost at the Owen Sound.
Okay.
All the way down to really St. Catharines. I've done a lot of work for a lot of VIP members, a lot of Rockstar members. Actually, this scar here on my forehead, this was a 2 nights ago, an emergency water heater replacement for a VIP member here.
No way.
So it's
thank you. Now you're putting your body on the line for Rockstar. Now you're
blood, sweat, and tears.
Holy smokes! And that's somebody you just met through the
I've done a few jobs for Rockstar members, and then my business is really just word of mouth. And I do a lot of property maintenance too for Rockstar members. So it's just all been, my name's been passed around, and everyone, I guess, has been happy so far. So just getting more and more business.
And so
that
one
way.
more time, with the services that you offer from the HVAC business, what are they? Can you just list them out?
Yeah, so that's water heaters, furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps, any kind of maintenance, repairs. Like I say, even with the property maintenance, I can go down, change air filters, any plumbing issues I can usually handle. Really, whatever mechanical service a house needs, we're into.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much for this.
Yeah,
really
of course. No,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Alex, thanks for coming on.
Thank
Didn't expect
you.
you.
This was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
totally. Really appreciate this. We'll do this again soon. We'll
Yeah,
get
I'd
an
love
update
to.
from you guys. Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
For
All right,
sure. We'd
thanks,
love
guys.
to.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed that chat with Matt and Alexandra. And if you are listening to this and you want some real estate information for yourself to understand some of the strategies that you might be able to use, you can go to www.rockstarinnercircle.com. That's www.rockstarinnercircle.com and check out everything that we have there. That's it for this episode. Until next time, your life, your terms.